Testing the mic. Oh my God. A little different startup routine with my Ecan Live software package. But anyway, I don't have Newsmax in the background over here where you can see. Let's get squeak. Oh my God. Do I have to oil this thing? All right, I was just getting the post out of the way there so you can see what's going on with my little boomer microphone. This is a super duper gradualistic microphone, which you can see this little shield on here. Marilyn was running up into the. I have a radio control thing you can plug on the mic, and I had it mounted on my high definition video Canon camera, and she had the microphone, and she ran up into the stands and was interviewing the college freshmen, sophomore, junior, senior people up in the stadium before the game, and they have all their body paint and all this stuff. And then she handed my microphone to the guy and let go of it. And I said, "Oh crap! You never let go of the microphone." God knows where. Anyway, she finally retrieved it after they passed it all the way down the row, and everyone had a little speech to give. So that was fun, sort of. Not. All right. What I got here? It's March 4th. It's a Saturday. And as a reminder, let me get my neat thing with these pictures. There we go. Whoa. Jeez, you go from agony to ecstasy. You'll see with the pictures. Go to the beginning of the pictures. There we go. So we see here Donald J. Trump, the 45th president of the United States, will be speaking in front of CPAC, Conservative Political Action Committee. Last year, I think it was in Orlando. This year, it is in I don't know where. It's in Maryland. I don't know. Anyway, they're having their annual convention, and all the candidates that are announced gave speeches and a whole bunch of other speeches, and they have 5 or 6 or 10,000 political action committee members running around, and they're looking forward to kind of like the keynote speech at the end of the pack, which has been reserved at 5:30 this evening. So if you're in the vicinity, hurry up and get in there so you can watch the speech live. But if you want to sit back in the comfort of your own couch or on your iPhone, iPad, shoulder pad, whatever, if you're on Xfinity, it's channel, I believe, 1115. There it is right there. See? 1115. If 5:30 to whenever he stops. If he speaks for an hour and a half, it's going to go on till 7 o'clock. I have it just in case we're busy doing something else. I've got it set on my recorder, and this is the little message that gets sent to my onto my iPhone. Let's see. Yeah, I sent it to our friend Judy downstairs on the 3rd floor, and she just gave me a little high five sign, so she knows that's happening. Here's a see. There it is. I got to turn the brightness down. Let's see them side by side. So who's more presidential, huh? Not even close. Anyway. Trump has all kinds of baggage, but you know what? He gets stuff done. I am presently so disgusted with the fact that our back door is open. You know, you have a house, right? You got a front door, you got a back door. You close both doors. And, you keep the doors locked. Anybody can pry open the door, but you keep the doors locked. You could break a window and get in, all this stuff. But you basically keep your doors locked. It's just what you do. If someone wants to beat your door down and get in, they're going to get in. But otherwise, keep your doors locked. So our back door in our United States is wide open. And you've got people coming in by the millions. And now, granted, we have 335 million people, strong country, we collect, I think, $4 trillion in tax revenues, including ourselves, contribute to that 4 trillion or 4.5 trillion. And under the Trump tax cut plan, which is in effect, I believe, it's $4.5 trillion. It's the record highest contributions in tax revenues in the history of the country with the Trump tax cut. So, these liberal folks that say, oh, you cut the taxes, and people aren't paying their fair share. Well, I got news for you. Half the country is paying nothing in federal tax, and the other half of the country is paying all of the federal tax. And quite frankly, the top 10% of the taxpayers, the top 10% of the highest paying taxpayers are paying over 90% of all the federal taxes. So, fair share, get out of here. I don't hear anything about fair share. That's a bunch of crapola. Anyway, so I don't want to. So we have an electric car. Guess what? The battery is down to 9%. 9% of about 280 miles. So that means 28 miles, 25 miles, 20. I can change my watch. Now it says 8%. Ooh, let's go to rated range, estimated range. How about estimated range? All right. So now, yeah, let's do that. Can we do that? There we go. 21 miles on my watch here. 21 miles it's okay. I mean, Marilyn is out on one of these charity things, and let's see where she is. Here's my car. Here's our car. 24 miles. According to, let's get the right rated. We want rated range. That's what we want. And that'll eventually come up with 24 when it catches up. There it is. 24 on there. 24 on there. You see it's in the yellow. Ooh. And where is she? Spanish River Park. There we go, Spanish River Park. She's parked right there, Spanish River Park. And I can't tell if she's probably not. Let's see, what's the temperature in the car? Oh, cabin temperature is 114 degrees. Holy mackerel. That's hot. Yeah, that's hot. And the problem when you get down into the under 10% battery, the normal systems that come on. Let's see if I can get this on here. I'm looking at it on my iPad. But here you go. Now you can see it. See, we're at 24 miles. And we're located at Spanish River Park. And she's right there. See, the car itself has its own LTE system that constantly reports back to Fremont, California, or wherever they decide to have it report back to. And more importantly, it's connected to the car through its own data line. Have nothing to do with it. It's built into the car. There's no visible antenna. It's like, a strip of wire built into the glass top, or I don't know. I actually don't know where the cell antenna is. It might be, under the front trunk. But it connects to the car. So if Fremont comes up with, if Tesla comes up with a software update, the car is all computer controlled. Let's call it that way. And everything you do to set up the car, it's all on a touch screen with this 15.5-inch screen that's like in the middle of the front driver, the front of the car, equally visible between the passenger and in the front and the driver in the front. With the idea, Elon said when they were designing it, they didn't want it shifted a little bit to the driver. And they'll, on this big screen, they'll have the speedometer over here, over on the very left-hand top corner of it. And then you have all the, the driving. It shows all the vehicles on the left side, the right side. It's all like electronic vehicle display. And then on the right side of the screen, right half of the screen, is a map and, where you're going. Anyway, get down to the last 10%. The automatic systems that keep the cabin temperature lower aren't operable because they don't want to run the battery down to zero. Now I can override that on the control here because I can go to climate, and I think I can turn it on. Let's try it and see what happens. We only got 9% battery, so I don't want to. We're just going to turn this on for a second if we can get it going. Are you sure the battery is low and enabling climate control will consume energy? Continue? Let's say yes. Okay. So you see the animation of the air coming out of the vents up here? Yeah, right up there. This car's just, the lights out, amazing. Oh my God. And they're driver control, autopilot, not full self-driving software, just the autopilot. Anyway, is really quite magical. See, interior temperature went down to 1,313. It's hot in that car. She's obviously not parked. 112. So it's coming down. It'll come down by faster numbers, but it'll go down to 70 degrees. Now, with a typical uh, internal combustion engine car, a gasoline driven car, which we've all had for 45 years, um, you know, you can't run the engine when you're not in the car because, it'd be so hot. It's already 114 degrees, right? Jeez. I mean, it's like 80, see, external temperature is 87 degrees. So it's 87 degrees, sunny, nice day. But when you have an enclosed car, it's 114. That's almost medium rare. Not quite. But, yeesh. Anyway, see, now it's down to 103. When it gets to 102, it's consuming battery power to do this, 101. It's going, when we get to 99, we'll cut it off. There it is. It's not 99. So we'll shut it down. The animation goes away. So now the temperature is at 98, 97. There's a little 96. Anyway, it'll generally, and then I'll go back up. It's leveled off at 96 degrees interior climate cabin temperature, 95. And then I'll start going back up again. Anyway, I just wanted to show you could I could override it. Now, there's a system in there which I have set the parameters up for, which says when the cabin temperature gets over 90, it automatically ventilates itself with the air conditioner if necessary, so that the cabin temperature does not exceed 90. But since the battery energy is really low, meaning it's under 8 or 9%, some of these automatic features will be inoperable, just like that warning message that came up when I turned it on. So you can turn it on, but watch out because you got to get to a charging point. No, I have a just so you know that I'm not completely crazy. Let's see right here. What did I do? I put see that cone? I put that cone right in front of parking spot 265. 265 is the parking space. Because I need to pull in there because you see this. See, he's plugged in. That's Dr. Brian. So, and there's a wire that goes right to. Anyway, he paid a couple $1,000. He got approval from the building, and the building engaged a electrician to put in 230 volt, 32 amp circuit, and we plug into that plug to charge our Teslas. So there's been a recreational vehicle parking in this spot the entire weekend, for last weekend. So I found one of these nice big cylinder, what do you call it, blocking cylinders, and brought it up to the second level, brought it over. I forget where I retrieved it, but I think I brought it down. It was on the third level, and this is the second level garage. So I put it there, blocking that space, because I want to pull our car in there and charge, tonight. So when Marilyn gets home, I told her to park in our normal spot, and then together we'll drive down to here, and I'll remove that cone. I'll put it over on this behind the column, and then be able to pull in there and plug my wire and get my car charged up. In the mall, as a backup plan, in the mall, Tesla has a 12-stall parking spot. Let's see if we can. How do I find that? I guess. No, we don't need it. Closest Tesla charging location. Okay. Let's see what happened. Closest Tesla charging station. All right. Allow. Charge point. No. We want supercharger. Here's supercharger map. Oh my God. Oh, you. No, we don't want that. That's too noisy. Let's get rid of that. Let's do that instead. So you can we'll just get there and wish. When we started our business, we were paying like the postage. I remember setting up ship station. I think it was just like 1 or 2 clicks. Everything was up and running. I was printing out labels and saving money. Ship station saves us so much time. It makes it really easy and seamless. Pick an order, print everything you need, and slap the label onto the box. It's really their cost for shipping. There we go. Just like that. Ship station. There we go. There's 12. Anyway, so you can. It's easy to find. It's hard to. It's hard to do it when you're, got. Oh, look at there we go. Superchargers. See, here's Boca Town, and right here in the mall, right around this turn, right up on this parking deck, right there, up here, where the police station. There's a little police station in the second level of this parking garage, which walks across over into like the office area of the mall. It's right in this corner, right in here. They got 12 superchargers. So you drive up this ramp and you zip down there right there. And that's, and you can plug in there and in 15 minutes, you got 200 miles worth of range in the car. 15 minutes. And you can sit there and, look at your iPhone and answer your text messages. Marilyn would, be on Facebook. Do that. But I forget what store this is here. Maybe it's Nordstrom's or something. Anyway, there are brand new 12 stalls. When you drive up this ramp, you run right into the first stall, and it goes right over to this little spot right there. There's 12 stalls. And then it's very nice. You plug in there. It's a 200 and 240 kilowatt charger stations. It's it takes up a lot of power. 3D. There you go. That's it. Town Center Road. And this is, there you go. I can see Nordstrom's. You can see the sign. At least I can see the sign. And it's up this ramp. But it's this is like a 3-story garage. It's one below because it's covered. You don't get any sun on it. This is the top of the garage because we're in 3D mode now. And I can, yeah, you can turn this thing, rotate this around. It's amazing. The mapping that's available. And that's the new, there's the entryway to it right there. You come right across the road and you drive right in there and you go, whoop, and you run right into the 12 charging thingies. And that's Nordstrom's would be the big store that's connected to this garage. You can see the whole town center mall. So it's pretty snazzy. Marilyn works right over here. So she ever gets in a jam and, that spot is unavailable that I just showed you. And she comes out of this office building and just drives right over here, comes through here, goes around this circle road, town center road, and drives right up into that garage. And it's next to the police station, so you're kind of safe. You're about as safe as you can be in a parking garage. And, that's it. So I left Marilyn a message, which I can show you. I can show you here. Let me get over here to Marilyn. So here's, okay. As the Tesla is less than 9%, which is currently 8%, I found and placed a large cone blocking our charging spot number 266, I believe. Let's 265. It's 265. I'm sorry, I misspoke. I typed 266. I meant 265. Drive directly home and park in our usual parking place, and we'll move the Tesla down to 266 together later today. Let's look at this picture. Maybe, okay, sorry. Yeah, it looks like 255, but I think that's a 6, and it's just like chipped away. That's a 5 for sure. So it's 265. Yep. Anyway, I misspoke on that. I'll copy it. Copy. And come down here and paste it. And change that to delete 5 to be consistent with what I know the facts are. And send it. There you go. Bing. The text message just got sent. Her iPad is over here, so it just twinkled. I guess it got the text message. The technology is kind of crazy. Anyway, so this comes off my watch. I got a thing right here. It shows 24 miles. So I got 20. She's only, maximum 4 miles away from where she is. Well, she's at wherever she is. She's in, less than 6 miles away because she's doing her charity event on Spanish River. And, we can find it. Remember, we go right here to location, Spanish River, and we could do a little thing. And it'll so what she's right over there. She can come straight down. This is the way she go. 16 minutes. Doesn't show mileage. It shows the minutes. So, yeah, like 40 miles an hour. If you go the other way, it's 20 minutes. This is 16 minutes. And that's she would take the beach road. fishes. Likes to get close to the water as possible. All right. So now we know where she is. Isn't that amazing? Oh, here we go. 3 point. It's right. It's right here. It's 3.3 miles, the fastest route. So she's 3.3 miles away. So we can do a little print screen of that. All right. Yeah. 84 degrees. Done. Save the photos. I'll come up here and go back to text message. And Meryl just put a picture ad in there, just in case she can't find her way home. She's probably so sick of me. Yep, there's a nice little image of exactly. There you go. See? That's the picture file. Now we can like zoom in and all that kind of stuff without lossing up the actual map. All right, so that's cool. So. You're talking about CPAC. Trump speaks at CPAC at 5:30 today. But they have all kinds of activities. Saturday's like the last day. They take the straw poll where everyone that attends, that's a, fee paid member of CPAC, gets to vote on which president they would like to run, which, so you got Trump, you got DeSantis, which is highly desirable. Trump is highly desirable. And the question is, does Trump keep, he's up, by at least 10 points from the last poll I saw. And, all this polling and the exuberance of these are all conservatives. So this is not a sampling of, the United States as a whole. It's a straw poll of all the very conservative people. So one would expect that Trump and DeSantis would be the most compelling candidates out of the two. And there are other candidates. All right, so what's in the headline? Here's Megan Fox. So there you go. Let's see if they say anything on the political Republican politicians. Went full fascist this weekend, written by a non-conservative, probably. This is Jezebel, whatever Jezebel is. Republican politicians went full fascist this week in this. They're talking about the CPAP, meaning it's hard to overstate the horror of what's going on in the red states right now. I knew it. I mean, you could tell from the headline it was written by a liberal, spin on here. So there you see DeSantis. He gave a speech at CPAC. You can see the CPAC background behind him. But he's our governor, and he's done a great job in Florida. Everybody seems to like him, and Florida is the interesting thing about being the governor of Florida is, we live down here in the southeast part of Florida, Palm Beach County, which is, blue state. There's I keep my affiliation kind of private because I don't want my car being firebombed or something. We are surrounded by assassins. So we basically keep our mouths shut politically because we live in the bastion of all the blue states people. Um, but guess what? They went for DeSantis because he's doing such a good job that you can't argue with success. So, um, so Florida is a very diverse state. The southeast part of the state you would consider blue territory, liberal territory, and then you go across over to Naples, Fort Myers. Fort Myers is kind of rednecky red state, and you go up to Tampa, St. Pete. You've got a major university, University of South Florida is over there, and you've got SAC Command Base, heavy military um, presence in Tampa. You go, 100 feet underground, to uh, a very secure, um, command center for the entire global organization of the United States military, satellite, telemetry, you name it. Um, the SAC command base is there, and you got a lot of other. I lived there for 10 years. I loved it. Tampa, oh, geez. It's a wonderful young city. Not 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 that I'm young anymore, but when we lived there, uh, 1970 to 1980, roughly, and before that, we lived in Miami. So we went from Miami to Tampa, and then whoosh, straight across over to Boca Raton from 1980 to 1990 to 2000 and to right now. So we're over here 25 years, 23 years. Tampa for 10, Miami for 10. So. But anyway, the state is very diverse. You go over to Orlando, you're back around a kind of a liberal, area. And you got the Disney World and all that. You go up to Jacksonville, I think that's a little more conservative. And you go over to the western part of the Panhandle, and I believe you get conservative again. So the state is pretty split. If you add them all up, you add all the blue guys and all the red guys, the blue team and the red team, you probably got the pretty equal number of liberals and conservatives. So it's a big state. It's the fourth largest state in the country with over 20 million population, 25 million population. Every 5 years or so, we add a congressman because the growth is crazy. I think there you go. Trump speech at CPAC. The coverage starts at 4. He actually, I have a program, the pre-speech, talking heads, and then at 5:30, I think he's on stage, and he'll have them ripping and roaring. He gets them going. He knows how to deliver a speech. He's a celebrity, so most of the population, most other what do you call it, political people are just political people, and they're either popular or they're not. Trump has the benefit of being a celebrity, whether he's in office, out of office, running for office, what have you, as they say. He's a celebrity. If he wasn't talking anything about any kind of politics, people would go see him just because he's Trump. What else can you say? Uh, so, uh, so I get so anyway. So that's the latest and greatest from the charging thing. I got to get the car in there. So I've encouraged Marilyn to park, and that's, I told her to go to our normal spot, but I got that parking spot where we have to plug in marked out with a big cone. So hopefully that cone stays there, and it will ricochet people from parking there casually. Anyone see Monday through Friday, what does that say? 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's reserved um, uh, for someone that works on the second floor in our building, which is a bunch of law offices and all that kind of stuff on the second floor. But during the weekend, it's basically open to anybody. Well, I don't want anybody in there. I want me in there. So I retrieved that cone. It's a big, heavy cone, and placed it right there where you couldn't miss it. You know, and you can't roll over it because it would, rip up the underneath of your car. I mean, it's made of rubber, but you wouldn't want to run over that. You got to get out of your car and move it. So that's what I will do. I will move that cone. See, the good doctor is plugged in right now. So by the time Marilyn gets done, he'll be done. And if he's not unplugged, I will peek in his driver's side window and see if he's full. Because the display. Yep, here's a political call. No, thank you. We don't want a political call now, do we? Well, that would have been interesting. I could have figured out how to put it on the broadcast here. Maybe next time. So we just rings on my phone, rings here. I can answer it on the iPad actually, and we could have listened to what they had to say. But we're talking charging cars right now. There we go. So Brennan came home from exercising. He goes to. We have a gym in our building, and he has a gym in his building. So sometimes he comes. Last night he was over in our building. When he comes home, look what his dog is. She's made a little nest for herself. She's piled all the. That's Brennan sent me a picture of his bed before she decided to make a little. That's pretty cool that she. Yeah. Anyway, I guess what else you got to do while the guy's away? Figure out how to cover herself all up, and she's all tucked in under there. Yes, sweet, big, strong dog. Oh, here's I'm looking through the pictures and bringing up the pictures that are important. And Apple has sent out a security update, which means everybody should load this security update into their iPhone or iPad or both. So I put it in all our devices, but that's like a public service announcement. Okay, that's why I kind of did a print screen of that. Let's see what else we got going here. Trying to get my doctor and the pharmacy, Publix pharmacy, kind of like up to speed on getting my insulin in a insulin pen. So, and the pharmacy can't give me what the doctor hasn't approved. So we're going back and forth with because the doctors and the nurses are not exactly up to speed on the latest in insulin technology. And it's not really about the insulin, it's about this Novo pen, Echo pen So it's an insulin delivering device, which you screw it's right here, this NovoFine Plus 32 gauge 4 millimeter. 4 millimeters is about a sixth of an inch, which is not much. So you just basically pull open your shirt and you just stick that right in your belly. You don't have to worry about how far because it stops right here. You know, you can't stick it in past the plastic, right? So you just poke it right in. The needle is so fine. It's it's the diameter of 2 human hairs. Okay, so you just stick that right in there and push the little button on the top of this pen right there, and you know, there it is. That little view. Now this is the neat thing about the Novo Echo is that this button that you actually depress to deliver your insulin remembers, you know, that you gave yourself 5.5 units of insulin 4 hours ago. It, each one of these little bits is an hour, see? 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, be 4 hours ago. It remembers only the last time. So that's, it takes the cartridges. There's devices on how you replace the cartridges. And let's see, they sell the the insulin is sold in 5-cylinder packs of 5. And the reason why, so, it's 3 times 4 is 12. So that would be 12. There's 3 milliliters in each little cylinder, which is not much. The cylinder's, about the size of, let me turn this light up a little bit. There you go. Your pen, it's like this big. So it's, 2 inches long and the diameter of this pen, pretty much. Your standard TD Bank pen. The cylinder is about right up to there. Where my thumb is. But it's, a proper cylinder. It has a screw end. It's a threaded end on this colored end here, onto which you screw the needle, that needle right there. You just screw it right on. It's all, what do you call it? It has a very fine lubricant on it. So when you screw it on, and it's all assembled according to the directions, and it's all assembled. So what you do is you rotate this end right here to 2. 0, a half, 1, 1.5, 2. You set it to 2, push it, and then the insulin should squirt out of the tip. And then you rotate this again to how many units you want to deliver, into your body. So, in my case, it's 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, somewhere in that range. It's not that much. But there's definitely need, and I don't want to take pills. I don't want to take the. See, I'm up to 154. Let's go to daily patterns. I can show you that on here. Boy. How come I don't see it? Oh, I already have it loaded. So here it is. See, I'm up to 154. And I can, ooh, I guess I can't look at that online here. I'm trying to do something you can't do. Oh boy, I got that all left up. Anyway, you can see it on here. That's my daily patterns. 7-day, 14-day, 30-day. So up on the top of that graph, it's peaking up around 250. And the bottom touches at 100. This whole thing should be down at 100. So when I have lunch, breakfast, lunch, dinner, evening snack, give myself 1 or 2 units of insulin just to bring it down. That's about the story. So I'm trying to, since I'm just switching over from not taking metformin, which I've not been taking it for about a month now, so my blood sugar is like elevated. If I was taking metformin, that whole chart would be down. But I don't want to be taking metformin because I read too many bad things about metformin, and how it affects your liver and your kidney and all that. And so I don't want to be, the doctor keeps on elevating my intake of metformin. I don't want to be there. I'd rather just do the insulin thing because that's what your body uses to control insulin. So my pancreas is working just fine, except just a little bit. At my age, my pancreas is getting a little tired. So don't expect to be too long having fun handing out food. Okay, Marilyn's at a Rotary event over here where I just showed her. And that's nice, huh? I'll show you. I didn't expect to be too long having fun handing out food. Okay. What time is it? I'll just say F Y I D. It's noon. How about that? That's a nice little. And then can I do a happy face? And we'll just do whatever kind of face that is. It's too girly. I'll do this guy with the. Yep, there we go. Let's do that little eyeball thing. Oh boy. Anyway, so she knows I'm not being cranky. So let me get my picture. So anyway, so I'm dealing with the pet, all this. This is actually the prescription. It's Fiasp, insulin, aspart injection, 100 units per milliliter. So they come in 3 milliliters. So what they think, so they think it's like an inhaler, where you have, 300 units. And if you're going to take 3, that means you've got 100, 100 possible injections of 3 milliliters. No, because you have to turn the thing to 2 and get it to squirt. Well, the squirt part is waste, because that's on your floor. You don't mop that up and use it; it's gone. So, and you just need to do that to prime the needle. Then you turn it to 3, and you stick it in your belly, and you do it. So you've used 5 or 6 milliliters for 1 dose. Now, let's just say 6. Well, you divide that by the 100 the 300 units that are in there, let's do that. Six. No, the other way around. Let's do it here so you can see. Put my computer up here. There we go. Let's clear it. And it's got 300 units in each little cylinder. But we're going to divide it by 6. So I've got 50 possible injections out of one of those, Now, I need to use that like 4 times a day. So, you divide that by 4, you run out. So you only get, so many injections. You only get 50 opportunities. So in a 30-day month, you can't do because you had to waste. The easiest way to figure it is that if you got 300 units in each cylinder, right? Because that's a 100-unit cylinder. Now, if I'm going to do it breakfast, lunch, dinner, and evening snack, that's 4 times a day. Okay. And 4 times a day times 2 milliliters, 8. So 4 times 2 is 8. So you're going to consume 8 milliliters of insulin just to prime the needle. 4 times a day, you got to squirt 2 milliliters. Now, I haven't taken a dose yet. So there's 8 units that get wasted every day. So if you divide, so if you got a 300 unit cylinder, and you divide that by 8, it leaves you 37 milliliters left over, 37 units left over, for delivery. Well, that's only 10 shots. 3 work, 10, 12 shots. So that's why they sell it in boxes of 5, because you have to waste so much. I mean, it's not a huge amount, but you have to waste a certain portion of it just to prime the needle. And then you're ready to take an injection. So, the nurses forget, or the doctors, they don't realize. And that's why you need a 5-unit thing. Because out of a 300 unit cylinder, 240 of it is wasted. I only have 60 left. So only 60 units available for your consumption to put it in your body. So if you got 240, let's say you have 60, okay? And let's divide that by 2. We'll just say 2. That's 30. So yeah, you can do 30. 30 injections per cylinder. So if you're taking it 5 times a day, each cylinder is only going to last you about 6 days. 5 or 6 days. That's why they give you 5 cylinders in a box, in a little box. So I'm probably going to have to speak to the nurse and explain that to her. The president talks on CPAC. So right now, Publix is working on, lining up that cartridge set because Publix apparently is not dispensing any of those cartridges because they had to escalate it to a higher level in order to get it, in here for my consumption. Plus, I need another pen. You got to have two pens. If one pen stops working, what do you? That's it. You're tough. You're gonna go hypoglycemic. You got to have a spare pen. So you use one pen, and the other one just stays in the refrigerator with a cartridge that's basically not used, and, unless the other pen starts to malfunction, which is possible. So you can't just have one pen. You got to have two. So I got to call I have to call the nurses anyway on Monday. Say, hey, got to have two pens. Can't have just one. Because if one burns out, stops working, I can't be out of business. Trying to deal with you people on the phone and all this crap. So if I have to pay for it without any insurance, fine. I'll have to pay for it. But got to have two pens. I'm sure the insurance industry understands that. If they don't, I'll pay. They paid for one, I'll pay for the other. It costs $57. So that I know. The truth is, if I get the script written properly, I can send it to Canada, and there's an online place in Canada where you can buy all these materials. You have the prescription. You just take a picture of it and upload it to them, and then you get it down. It's all priced out. The whole box costs, I think, $130. That's no insurance or anything. Good RX, forget it. Any of that, forget it. It's $130. They send it to you, and you're good. With the prescription. But you got to have the script right. And these doctors don't know how to write the script because they're not used to. It's not like you need 3 a day for 30 days, 90 pills. That's really simple. 2 milligram pills, 10 milligram, whatever. But when you're doing insulin, you don't know exactly how much. So, it might be 2 units in the morning and only 1 unit in the evening, or 3 units in the evening, depending on what kind of dinner you had. You just have to. I have this continuous monitoring. That's what I showed you. It is. Oh, where is it? Bingo. What? Oh, what's going on here? Let's close that out. I don't know what happened. Let's try it again. There it is. So I'm at 143 units right now, blood sugar. So it's slightly elevated. And there's the Libre right there. It's got continuous monitoring. So that's how you know what's going on. So, I checked myself into the hospital in December because I had like acute bronchitis. And at my age, you don't want to mess around. So if you're coughing a lot and this and that, and it's getting worse instead of better, I just had Marilyn drive me right into emergency, and I just got in there, and I was there for 4 days while they're testing every day. They took X-rays, they took CAT scan, they went through the whole Megillah, and they basically confirmed what kind of meds I was taking. They did all blood tests. Do you have, the virus? We're all worried about COVID-19. So, no, I didn't have that. It was just something else, bacterial infection. And, when you start coughing too much, when you're 78, you don't want to take any chances. So they said, well, what are you doing here? I said, well, I've had quadruple bypass surgery, and I'm coughing an awful lot, and I just want to make sure I get in here. And you guys can make sure everything is copacetic. That's it. So Anyway, so now, they're watching my blood sugar. I don't want to do, in, metformin. So now we're into an insulin strategy. So I know anytime my blood sugar got over 200, they give me 2 units of insulin. So since this pen is accurate to a half a unit, if it gets over 150, I'll give myself 1 unit. I'll bring it back to 100. You want to stay at like 100. That's right. You can see where the 100 line is. It's all elevated, so I bring that down. I'm a biochemist by training, so I understand, this stuff. So, here's, I can see this is a blank period between when I stopped using this sensor and I started using this sensor. So from 9 to 10, it's blank. Every 2 weeks on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, got to put in a new sensor so that we have continuous readings. So for the next couple of months, getting used to this whole insulin thing, I'll get to understand, the dosages. My doctor will get to understand what my consumption has been and the fact that I'm not hypoglycemic or otherwise. Anyway, so it's life is a learning experience. And they sent me out with oxygen because my blood oxygen was, a little bit on the low side, like below 90%, right? So it just so happens my Apple Watch is very good. This is actually a graph of my blood oxygen. I don't think I have a way of projecting that on the screen. I'll figure that out. But for the time being, my blood oxygen right now, I'm at 92% presently. Is that right? Beats per minute. I see in my milliseconds between beats. 92. My range is 85 to 97. You get down below 90, I should turn on the oxygen and just sit down and suck on that for a while. My average pulse is 74. That's good. Minimum 66, maximum 111. Currently 66. So the Apple Watch is magical because it tracks all this stuff and sends it right to an app. Here, let's go here. What do they call this app? Health. So let's just try health. HEALTH. No, not health mate. So I apparently don't have. I don't have it. Let's try the App Store. Oh boy. Then we'll go search. Press that top button. HEALTH. Health. Let's just hit search. The app should look like this little signal right there. Health stats, dashboard. I guess they don't make, let's see, they have health, heart analyzer, health. All right. I'll check that out at another time. Health stats, get. Let's download that and see what happens. Open. iPad not supported, unfortunately. Okay. All right. See, they're all designed for the iPhone. So all these stats come right through the iPhone, but they don't have a version that works with the iPad. So that's everything you get. See, that's the one I'm trying to get, but not for the iPad. All right. I can take no for an answer. All right, so we've talked about my insulin long enough. It's not going to get untangled until Monday. I spoke to, I think, Ken in the pharmacy today. He said, "Give me a little time." So I'll give him until we'll see when Marilyn gets home and see if I can plug in and get a few get a few miles of energy in there, and then I should go visit the pharmacist, and see if we can get this. We got to get this worked out. It will be worked out sometime during the next week. I got to go in there and show them what needs to be done, which is fine. I'm a pushy guy. I'll get it done. I don't take no for an answer, so we got to get to the bottom of it. But this little doodad that you can, what do you call it? Freestyle Libre is what they call it. And so the little guy's stuck on the back of my arm, and it's this big. You can see it's a little bit bigger than a dime and a little bit smaller than a nickel, and it's that thick. And it has adhesive. It sticks right on your arm. And it has a little bricky thing that you won't be able to probably see it here. Oh, can we get it? Yeah. You see, it has a little pricky thing. Now it sticks in your skin. It's flexible, so it doesn't hurt. If you just jam it in the back of your arm. It's spring loaded, and it actually, accelerates into your arm. And then it's got, sticky stuff all on this side. And it transmits every 5 minutes to my iPhone and tells me there's my book. There it is. See, 36, 136. So you can Libre link up. So if someone downloads Libre link up into their iPad, which I think I've probably done everywhere, I can see what my blood glucose level is, no matter where I am. In case I don't want to look it up on the phone, because I can be somewhere else on the phone, and I can always look this up no matter where I am. And it goes through the internet and all that, connects up. So that's Abbott Laboratories. I get a 2-pack, every 3 weeks. So I'm always have an extra one. And at the end of 2 weeks, then I stick one in this arm, and I activate this, and then this one goes off. I pull it off, throw it away. But this one, I peeled off all the stuff and saved it just so I could show you. There's actually a little battery in there. There you go. It's in focus now. You can see the little battery. And it's very thin. Oops, there we go. It's very thin. It's a little thinner than a nickel and a little thicker than a dime. And that's it. It's amazing. Every 5 minutes it takes a reading. So instead of pricking your finger 4 times a day, whatever, and you get all sticky with it. I mean, that's nuts. You know, if you need to do your blood sugar, this is the way to go. Because it happens. There it is, 137, 138. Whoops. There we go. So this always keeps up to speed. There, bingo. This one has now been updated. So within, a matter of a few seconds, all your devices see 138, 138, 138, 138. See up there. It's amazing. Now you can be in Switzerland and see this, and it'll update. And then if you want, you can slide this bar up and down. There's a 1 hour blackout when I switched cylinders, switched dinghies every 2 weeks. It's only good 14 days exactly. Bam. Then the sensor turns off. So it turns off at 10. So at 9, I do it. It sends me a warning. Change your thing. So I know Saturday morning, between 9 and 10, I have to change. I need to change up on this. And I expect with all this insulin crap, so all during the month of March, we're getting like set up. So March, April. So in April, I'll get my blood sugar under control so that I know what to do and how to deal with it. And, so you don't have to call the doctor every 10 seconds. And, it's very easy when you have a continuous blood glucose monitoring thingy. If, it's only costs money. It costs, dollar a day, but it's better than sticking your finger all the time. I hate that. And when you're in the hospital, I'll say, here, don't stop with this. Poke it in the side over here. This is too sensitive. And you touch everything, and it gets all dirty, and you're subject to, getting some kind of infection. So I'd rather have them poke in the side somewhere and get a little drip of blood to do their thing. But this is magical because it shows sensor ends in 14 days. And I just started it, but these green lights go off every day. And then when you get down to the last 2 days, it's, it starts to remind you got 2 days to go, buddy. Make sure you got another one. Or you're going to go offline. But these daily patterns are important. It shows how your blood sugar is going up and down with time. Let's see if I can show this to you. Back up a little bit. It's not in focus. It's on it. There we go. So now you can see what I see. So you can see it goes over. It's just under 250, but it's always all that activity is considerably above the 100 line, and somewhere between 90 and 100 is where your blood sugar should be. So I'm going to use 100 as my baseline. So 4 or 5 times a day, I'll be giving myself a little bit of an insulin shot just to bring it down. So if I'm going to have, something to eat for lunch, right about as soon as I, just give myself a little shot of 2 units of insulin, and then go have lunch, and then you won't see these mountains. It'll all stay, relatively even, and that's what I do: flatten out that curve, because if you don't, organs start to, get damaged. Like people that don't control insulin, I had a pet. Didn't know the pet needed insulin. How the heck do you know? The dog doesn't say, "Hey, I need insulin." So they can't talk to you, and you don't talk to them, and all of a sudden, the dog goes blind. The eyes turn cloudy, and the dog's blind, and you didn't realize that the dog needed insulin. Well, if you still don't treat the dog, and it's easy, you just squeeze the skin in the back of the neck and stick the little skinny needle in there. The dog doesn't feel a thing, and you give him 3, 4, 5 units. I had to. That's what I did, but unfortunately, I couldn't save the dog's eyesight because I didn't realize the dog had an insulin, a blood glucose problem. You bring the dog into the vet; he does the same thing that the hospitals do with me, and you end up with an insulin thing, and you give the dog insulin every once in a while, and you check the blood every once in a while, blood test. Now with Jimmy, I just put this thing on the back of my arm. I can see my blood glucose, every minute of the day whenever I feel like looking at it. We want to go right here. Oh, there, 136. This is a couple seconds behind. Anyway, so that's what I'm wrestling with this weekend. I want to get to this pharmacist because I could tell. I had him on the phone. He's a Publix pharmacist at Palmetto Square, 1390 West Palmetto Park Road. But I could tell talking to him that he knows what he's talking about. Some of these newer pharmacists, they don't know so much. But he looked it up on the system, and it went escalated. Now we need to get to the bottom of it. So I come in and I have screenshots of what this stuff looks like, what I need. And then we need to get the doctor to write the script for that. And I'll explain to the pharmacist, when you do the pen, you got to turn it to 2, hit it, squirts out. So now you have all the air out of the needle. Then you give yourself, your shot. But if every time you do it, you got to waste 2 units, and you do that, 4 times a day, that's 8. Well, 3 times 8 is 24. So 240 units of that insulin never gets used other than priming the needle. You only got 60 units available for, your dosages. And that's why they box it in 5-cylinder boxes. I explain that to the pharmacist, and then we'll show, we'll have him and myself communicate with the doctor saying, this is what we need to do. So I have a feeling I'm going to have to go into the doctor's office and explain this to somebody. I'd rather not drive around. I have to do that, but I know I'm going to have to go to the pharmacist, at Publix. And if they can communicate that to the doctor, fine. I'll send the doctor a fax. I do know they get faxes. I got the fax number. It's hard to get these doctors, or the doctor's nurse on the phone. They're always running around. They have too many appointments. Anyway, that's the life of someone that's over 65. It's okay. I'm a smart guy. I'll stay on it. Young couple turns a Coca-Cola truck into a home. Now that's amazing. Let's see where that story is. We go here. Oh, come on. I want to go to the beginning. We go one more over. Okay, there it is. There you go. Young couple turned a Coca-Cola truck into a tiny home on wheels. and now is living rent-free. But you got to buy the Coca-Cola truck. It's not free. That free should be in quotation marks. Okay, so that's the news with the Coca-Cola truck. How much is the Coca-Cola truck? Well, let's go here. Where's the story? Should have a picture. There it is. Young couple turns a Coca-Cola truck into a home. Okay. They paid $17,500 for the truck and spent 11 months renovating it. They're in Australia. Okay. It costs the same amount here as there. That's a civilized country, continent, whatever. It's interesting. Huh? Let's see if they got a picture of the inside of this little son of a gun. There you go. Couple spent $17,000. And they got the thing. They turn it up. They have a little awning. He's sitting on a log. That's in a campground somewhere. Got a couple bikes screwed on the back. Little stairs going. Yeah, little stairs, 1, 2, 3. Little sliding glass door there. They got like blinds to cover that up and lock themselves in, I guess. And let's see if there's any other pictures. Oh, there's the happy couple. She got a bone in her nose. Okay. Hey, there's the inside. Look at that. You got a little kitchen thingy there. And you wash 2 dishes. What is that? That must be the refrigerator. Let's see if they got any other refrigerator. Oh, see, there's the back end of the truck with bikes on it. There you go. Driving the campground. So that's how they got it. So this whole thing slides over because that's how they got 2 of those, one on each side. And that's how the Coca-Cola guy would be getting the cases of Coke out of there. And from there, this guy, he's got this different guy. So they hired so he's built this thing right in here. There's probably going to be a bathroom in there. You draw up a little floor plan. You have a $10,000 kitty for fuel and food. There's the little toilet. Okay. That's an issue. How you deal with the toilet. All right, so there's a little view of this whole arrangement right here. You got to watch your weight. You don't want to get too heavy, so you can't get through there. There's a little, at the very end, you got, a place where four or 5 people can sit around a table that folds. You got the little springy thing on the sink. You got a range. You just need to have some good ventilation somehow. You better be up somewhere where it's not too hot. And of course, you don't want to be up where you got this blizzard stuff because that'll blow away. All right, so that's a little story about that. I think I'll stay right where I am right now. All right, well, we're an hour and a half, an hour and 29 minutes and 44 seconds. Why don't we call it a day? Have a nice weekend. It is now 12:33 p.m. Eastern time. we got to set our clocks spring forward, pretty soon, which means it's lighter at night and darker in the morning. Phew. So that's the story there, and I know they're yeah, the crowd is happy that I'm hanging it up. So with that, I'll say goodbye, and you'll have a great weekend.